Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets and business apps with O2 Business. So you have an iPhone 5S, you're thinking about upgrading to an SE, but you really want to make sure that the camera is significantly better. Well, you're in the right place. We're going to do a very quick test to see in really good lighting how both cameras make this Canon lens look. We've got both of the lenses polished up, we've got them facing in exactly the same direction, equidistant with pretty identical light sources across both devices. We're going to tap, holding everything in place, and take the picture. And we're going to do the same on the SE. With as little handshake as possible. The first thing you will have noticed is the fact that there was a live image being recorded on the SE. The live image is not available on the 5S. Now we can actually take a look at the picture quality. Taking a look at the lens across both devices, the on-screen image looks a little bit cooler in the 5S as opposed to the SE. This might have something to do with the screen calibration that we spoke about earlier. It also looks like it's slightly lower contrast. You can see the white background in the background really does pop hugely by comparison to the foreground lens right there. That higher contrast actually is pretty visually pleasing. As for whether it's accurate or not, it is indeed a white background, and yes, so probably is a little bit more accurate. As far as pure detail goes, we tapped on the kind of AF stabilizer section and you can see both look really sharp. Given the fact I can't actually pinch in too closely on the 5S, I have to keep my finger here because it isn't as high resolution a picture. They are actually relatively comparable. The white, as I said, is just cooler, and that's a key noticeable difference. The other real difference lies in the ribbing. The tones of black are just much more distinctive across the SE camera, and that's really where a lot of cameras struggle and where the SE has won up over the 5S. Again, that right there, that black is a lot less distinct than it is on the SE. You've still got some really attractive blurring in the foreground on both of the devices, so I wouldn't go so far as to blame that blurring there on the bokeh effect of sorts, if you will. But I will say that both took great images, but the SE just gave that little bit more detail, and it'd be interesting to get these off of the cameras to see whether the more blue hue on the 5S's image was indeed a result of the screen or the camera itself. And now we've got both images on an iPhone 6s Plus, so the same screen will give us a much more representative experience as to how they look. And it's exactly like it looked on the two phones themselves. You've got the SE image here, which is slightly warmer than the 5S image. The 5S image, the white just looks a little bit more starched. There's also slightly less detailing, however it still looks really good. But it's really when I pinch in on that ribbing right there and then jump over to the SE image that you can see the SE just pulls out all those nooks and crannies a little bit better, all the tonal variation within the blacks right there. As I was pressing harder, it was going into a live image. It wasn't as blurred as it just looked. It's all beautifully sharp in the foreground, whereas the foreground of the whole image is nice and blurry on both. So two great images, but definitely the SE comes up better. It's also interesting, just reinforces that warmth of the SE by contrast, but the screen is warmer and the camera is calibrated warmer too. Hopefully you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, then click that thumbs up button. Like BTech in general, subscribe. It's how you're going to stay on top of everything that we do. Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets and business apps with O2 Business.